in just a second. So we have the Josh Anderson from, I wouldn't just say Nashville, it's Brentwood is where you're from mostly, right?
I live in Nashville. I live like right in the middle of the city now, but I grew up in Brentwood.
Okay, so yeah, then Nashville.
Yeah.
So from Nashville, he's got a mega team there. So Josh, welcome. Thanks for joining us. How have things been for you during all of this?
It's definitely interesting. Yeah, so it's we've stayed really busy, and you know I keep telling the team and just all these Zoom calls that I'm doing, it's like, well, what are you doing different? And honestly, I'm not really doing anything different. I'm continuing my time blocking and my lead generation and my lead follow up, and so it's you know, it's I guess I'm so ingrained in it. I've been doing it for 14 years, and so like I wake up every day at 4:42 and I go, we don't go work out we go to the garage now and work out. So work out in the garage and then get ready for the day, hang out with the kids for a little while and go to the office. So my office is about 300 yards from my house. So it's pretty easy. Yeah. Clayton's been to my house. He rolled my house one time. That's a different story. There's a different Zoom call. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure now if they added toilet paper to your house, it'd probably double the value.
I know, right? So, you know, I think that's the biggest thing is people keep going, well, who are you calling and what are you doing and what does that look like? And really, I mean, it's not a script. It's just picking up the phone and calling people and saying, how are you? Like, is there anything I can help you with? Mm-hmm. And I think this is like the perfect opportunity to reconnect with your database if you haven't been staying in touch with your database. Mm-hmm. And I know that's like the one thing that people probably don't really want to hear, but it really is. It's just being human and just getting back and like reconnecting. And there's a lot of people that are losing their jobs. I mean, we're almost at 19% unemployment. Like there's a lot of people in your database and in your phone and on your Facebook that have somebody in their house that doesn't have a job right now. So, you know, we've kind of found some of our clients that don't have jobs and we've been sending them hot meals, giving them, you know, sending them gift cards and things like that, just to reconnect with people. So yeah. Doing lots of contests and things like with our clients that are business owners, like restaurant owners. Mm-hmm. So we're interviewing them, like 5 to 7 minute interviews. Like, how can the community support you? How can we help you? You know, so buying gift cards from them and then giving them away to our people. That way we're kind of connecting with our database and we're loving on our clients that own the businesses. Okay. So I'm happy to go into like our team. And so I'll just back up a little bit. I've been in the business for 14 years. In 2019, we did 236 transactions for right around 105 million in volume. And I just say all that to say like 75% of our business is past client or some type of referral. So about 20% of that is agent referrals from around the country. And then the rest of it is just some kind of past client. Or some type of database referral. And so I say that to say a lot of what we do is our client events. And we obviously haven't been able to do client events. And so we do 4 big client events a year, and then we do some like little micro type events and community events. And so we've really had to shift to doing a lot more video and a lot more contests. Today, you guys caught me at the perfect time because we did our reverse bold 100 today. And so I don't know what a reverse bold 100 is, but we did that, and we basically gave away this Dyson Supersonic hair dryer, blow dryer thing that costs $400 for a blow dryer.
Yeah, my boyfriend wants one.
Yeah. Well, everybody on my team that has one said they're absolutely like life-changing, just a total game changer. So,
oh wow.
It's kind of
I'll have to
crazy.
Borrow Clayton's and see if it's worth it.
He's been using it on his beard. It's good. So, you know, so we did that, and we had I don't have the final count. As of about 30 minutes ago, we had like 68 people or 72 people call in. We got 3 or 4 listing appointments out of it. We got 2 or 3 referrals out of it. We got some of our Google reviews. So we're saying, I mean, that is a big piece. For $400, it allows you to do a lot.
Yeah. So for those of the people on the call who aren't familiar with the reverse bold 100. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So instead of doing like a regular bold 100, trying to make 100 contacts in a day, we do a reverse bold 100 where we give away something of value, and they have to call into our office between 9 and 2 o'clock. So we started at 9 o'clock and it was over at 2. And we're going to do like a little boomerang video of picking somebody that wins it. And then we'll mail it out to them, or they can come pick it up. And, but yeah, it's just a different way of like getting, I mean, the ultimate goal for all of us on the phone, if you never had to lead generate again, which we all have to do, and you should be doing at a really high level, but like instead of lead generating outbound, what if you had incoming calls all the time? And that's the reason I do the videos and the different things, and we can go into that. But the goal is to have 100 people call in to us rather than us dialing out to them.
Yeah.
So, a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, if you can expound on it a little bit. Therese was wanting to know more.
Yeah. So, you know, I think it gets tiring and old a little bit to like always. Like, I think the biggest struggle for agents is the basics, the fundamental things that we know we should be doing. And this just kind of changes it up. And it's like, we give away a $400 gift, which really isn't, I mean, that's significantly less than we spend on our client events. And so they have to call in, and so the way kind of, and I can send you, we've got a playbook on it. But I can send you this playbook, and we sent out postcards starting about maybe 21 days ago. We sent out a postcard to everybody in our database that basically says we're doing this Dyson supersonic blow dryer giveaway, and it has our phone number on it. It has the times they have to call in, and basically our phone system has it where they can push any button, and everybody's kind of all hands on deck. Then we sent out some text messages. We made phone calls. We did social media posts. So like you can go to our Facebook page, the Anderson Group Real Estate Services, and you can kind of see all the different posts we did over the last 2 or 3 weeks to see how we got it out there. So we initially opened it up just to our clients, and then we opened it up to other people. We wanted to make sure our clients got it first, and then we opened it up to others.
Yeah. Okay. That's awesome. Where'd you come up with an idea like that?
You know, I think somebody came up with it like in the last 6 or 9 months. It was kind of the first time I heard about it in Keller Williams. And we just thought, so we're going to do one for Father's Day as well. But we wanted to do this one today for Mother's Day. We had all these different ideas we were trying to come up with as a team at our team meeting. And it was like, and some girl was like, let's just do this Dyson blow dryer. It's like $400. And I was like, hell no, we're not doing a Dyson. You know, like I was thinking like, why wouldn't you do, you know, the idea was like, what about a full day at a spa, which would have probably cost more than $400, but we didn't know when they were going to open back up and all these things. So we started polling people, and they were like, oh my God, like the Dyson supersonic thing is like life-changing. So we rolled with it, and it worked out really well. So now we have to like one up that for Father's Day.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
And so in between, yeah, I know, right? So in between all of that, we're trying, you know, we're doing a magic show, a Zoom magic show for our client, really for the kids of the client. Yeah. We're doing bingo and trivia. You know, we don't know if they're going to be a disaster or good or what, but we're just trying to have fun with it, and we're trying to, you know, get engagement from people on our Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. So it's just playing around with it and see what works.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. So you're still doing your events, but kind of taking them more online right now then.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty much all online until we know that, you know, Nashville's supposed to open back up tomorrow, but they're doing it in phases. So we still don't really know when we're going to be able to do, like our first quarter event was a movie theater, which nobody really wants to go to movie theaters, which is understandable. But the last one we did was for Frozen 2, I think in November. I think it was a week before Thanksgiving. And we had, you know, 175 people show up, and it was awesome. We had face painters and Elsa. I don't know where they got Elsa. She didn't really look that much like Elsa, but, you know, anyway, it was it was one of those things. I mean, it was awesome. The kids loved it. The parents were like, thank you so much. This gave us something to do.
Yeah.
And we usually do like a big brunch event. We always change it up, fall fest and dinner parties and different things. But we've realized over the last year and a half or 2 years, we've really had to up our game on client events because we do get really good engagement. But with that being said, we don't get as much. We used to do a lot more happy hours and easy things. They were easy events. We just realized, like, as our clientele started getting married and or having kids or upsizing, downsizing, moving to different counties, it's hard to for people to just come see us for a beer.
Yeah.
So we created more of like an actual destination or an event that they could come to. And one is always family friendly, and the others, we're going to do like pictures with Santa this year, and we're going to do different things that just, I think, if you're not a member at let's just say you're not a member at like a country club, then where else do you have pictures taken? And nobody really wants to go to the mall to have pictures taken with Santa. So like there aren't a whole lot of places to do those kind of things. So we're just trying to think of things that like are easy for the parents that also like they need to do it, whether it's the Easter Bunny or Santa or whatever. So we're constantly just doing different events, and then we're getting together as a team and like, all right, what could we have done better? How can we make it better next time?
Yeah. Well, so then let me ask you this: if you said that you're calling people, doing events, doing online events and stuff like that, what's kind of the other side, like more of the technological, hands-off kind of aspects of your business that you do?
With regard, are you meaning like social media and things like that?
Well, social media, or kind of like, do you have a texting system, email system? Because it kind of sounds like, with the calls and the events, that's all part of like a 36 touch campaign, or kind of like your flow calendar. And so you've got parts of it that are high touch, and you actually engage with the clients. And then what are some of the high tech kind of aspects that you're using to help engage with clients?
Yeah, I think the biggest piece is just having like, whether it's Command or whatever you guys end up using, it's just having a system that like you can log into that realistically tells you, hey, this is the 1 year anniversary of them buying a house, or hey, it's so-and-so's birthday, and just having like an automated system that can help you with those things. So right now we use Commissions Inc., and we're pretty much all the way moved over into Command. We just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. We're doing a lot of testing with like Facebook ads through Command. Doing because we do a lot of videos, we're doing some YouTube ads. So we're just playing around with different things to see what works. I mean, I want more of that to be in our business, but a lot of our business has been like the manual. I mean, there's certainly there's a certain amount of automated piece of our business, but a lot of it is, I kind of grew up on like, you pick up the phone and call people and you lead generate and you lead follow up, and you like follow up with people until they buy or die. And I know that's silly, but like that's the one thing I'm really good at is I'm very structured from being in the military and like growing up on a farm, and like my calendar is really dialed in, and I know that probably what I do, a lot of people don't want to do, not because they can't do it, but because it's really monotonous and boring. And, but it's also really predictable. So I make my phone calls for 3 to 4 hours every single day. Even during all this pandemic stuff, I literally come into the office every day and make phone calls. My team thinks they just think I'm like a machine that just, and not, just from the standpoint of like, they're like, God, don't you get tired of doing that? And I'm like, yeah, but I like the outcome.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is it's not about selling real estate. It's about following a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
and I think
somewhere.
I know, right? And I think it's hard because like we don't grow up, like people don't teach us how to time block. Like, yes, you go to school and you have classes and then you go to your next class, but you don't really know that that's time blocking, and it's kind of built in. Like you basically have to go to the next class. You don't have to time block for your business until you look up one day and you go, oh God, rent's due, mortgage is due, and I don't have anything in the pipeline. I closed 7 deals last month and I don't have anything this month.
Yeah.
There's no leverage in place to like consistently do it.
So for yourself, it seems like it's pretty easy to time block. So running a team, how do you kind of help instill that into your team members?
Yeah, so it's not really an option if you want to be a part of the Anderson group. I mean, we just have standards in place. We have a lot of systems and a lot of processes, and I feel like if you can't do 2 deals a month on my team, you're not going to be successful in real estate, period.
Yeah.
Because we have a director of we have our director of operations, we have a listing manager, we have a transaction coordinator, we have 2 virtual assistants, we have a director of marketing. Like, we're literally taking everything off their plate.
Yeah.
With regard to anything administrative, I want them showing properties, lead generating, negotiating offers. That's it. And so ultimately, that's dollar productive activities. And the more I can keep them doing that, the more money they're ultimately going to make.
Mm-hmm.
So, not to get around the question, I guess it really isn't that difficult when you just have standards in place, like it, and it's evolved over time. So for us as a team, we have to have a certain amount of appointments set, appointments held, and then we're tracking like how many price reductions did we get, or how many listings do we have, and what does that look like? So our goal this year is 135 million in volume. We've got some ground to make up because like everybody else, this has definitely put a wrench in things. But what else are people like? What are you doing if you're not following the schedule right now?
Yeah.
You don't really have an option other than to lead generate, and just don't think of it as lead generation. Like, go love on your database, pick up the phone, call people, see how they're doing. Just be a human. Like,
yeah.
And I understand that there's a lot of people on this call that don't do 100 million in volume, and that's fine. Go buy a $10 gift card, or go give them an Amazon card that they can go buy some toilet paper. I don't know. I mean, anything, like, they remember the way you made them feel. And I think that's important with like something as small as like birthday cards. How many people on here get birthday cards from anybody other than maybe their mom or their grandmother? Doesn't happen very often. So like, those are easy touches that other people aren't doing.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. I love sending out birthday cards because that one just seems like it's an easy thing to do.
It's easy, and it makes you happy.
It is.
Yeah, and it makes you happy. Like, anytime you open up a birthday card, you're like, oh man, so-and-so thought of me. Like, you don't even have to know them that well. Just
yeah.
So
very true.
Well, and one of the other big things we're doing right now, I mentioned video earlier, and video is really easy right now. Like, a lot of what we're doing, I'm doing 3 or 4 hours again on Sunday, and we're just going around to like either new construction developments and doing videos of like, here's what you get for $350,000. Here's the amount of floor plans they have. If you go to my YouTube page, you can kind of see I've done a couple over in my neighborhood that are like, and we're trying to release 1 or 2 a week, not too many, but I might, 2 weekends ago, I did like 12 videos. And I know that sounds like a lot, but they were all in the same neighborhood. So I hit 3 house videos, and then I met my lender, and we just had like a couple of conversations, and then just cut pieces of it and edited it. It was like 7 different conversations in a matter of 30 minutes. We just like jumped to different pieces. Like, hey, what do you think about investment properties right now? What do you think is going to happen with Airbnbs? And so just doing quick little 2-minute clips. So it was really, and they were all off the cuff. Like, they weren't, we literally were just thinking about them off the top of our head.
And are you using your iPhone for that?
So for those, I actually had my videographer meet me at the properties and do them, but he's not doing like super high level editing and everything. So he's turning them around in like 48 hours. So the ones he does that are higher level, like more expensive, they take maybe a week or 2. I'm doing less of those right now because I feel like the amount of content we want to get out is important. So what can you get for $1 million, in X neighborhood? I think people want to see that. Can they go on Zillow? Sure. Half the shit on Zillow is not even accurate. So like, go do a YouTube video. They want to see your face. They want to hear, like, I mean, those videos are only like 2 or 3 minutes, and it's literally like 30 seconds of me talking, and the rest of it's just highlighting the, accent wall or the finishes and the neighborhood, the sidewalks, things like that. So it's really simple.
Yeah. So we had a question about how do you set up the systems and standards to track your outcome? I know when I was running my team, we kind of sat down and we were saying instead of 2 deals a month, you had to have 4 deals a month to be on our team. So where is it you kind of get that from, and how did you come up with what you were going to do?
Yeah, I think part of it is like, I think this all kind of starts with like trying to think about the end in mind, and like, what do you like? I think one of the things that Keller Williams does really, really well is like the idea of promoting teams and promoting this business. And I think team building's, I don't think it's the hardest thing I've ever done. Like, it's difficult. And I think because so many people see them at like family reunion or mega camp, they're like, oh, I'm just going to go start a team. And I know there's individual agents on here as well, but you know, I think there's a misconception on how easy or how hard it is. And where I'm going with that is there's a lot of people that are sharing like, oh, here's my job description for this, or here's my system for that. Like, go get those systems, but don't just copy and paste it. Like, read through them and really think about it, and then like highlight the things you like on there, and then the things you want to change, and then really customize a system to you. So for me, I always customize systems around, I would take a little bit of time and go, all right, what do I think this job looks like, and what do I hate doing that I want off my plate? So I created job descriptions based on like what I didn't like, that didn't give me energy and didn't make me happy. And so that's how I created job descriptions for us. And pretty much everything administrative, I was like, I don't want that. I don't want that. I kept taking it off, and that's how I created a job description. And the same way with the standards, like, I don't know, for me, it's two is like really too low, but I think, I think 4 is high, 2 is low, 3 is a realistic number with all the leverage that we have in place. But when you think about like, all right, if you're taking everything off their plate with regard to social media, any administrative tasks, even like getting Google reviews, that's all done by our admin. So like, they don't even have to do that piece of it. So if they're not doing that, they should be able to do 2, 3, 4 deals a month. And so like, looking, what do you expect of somebody? Like, I guess, where's the line where you go, I'm not willing to have this person in my life if they can't do X amount of deals with what I'm providing them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I did it. Everybody's got a different way of doing it. I just looked at it and kind of built it out with my business coach and said, what do we need to hit our numbers per week or per month? And what does everybody on the team have to do? So one of the things we did was get away from like the number of contacts. Number of contacts is important because you obviously have to make a certain amount to set an appointment, but everybody converts leads at a really different level. So like Stephanie on my team, who's worked with me for 10 years, she can make 1 hour of phone calls to past clients and get 3 referrals and a listing appointment. And somebody newer on the team might have to do 6 hours worth of calls for the same amount of juice from that squeeze.
Yeah.
So all that to say, like, we got rid of the number of contacts. Ours has become more about how many appointments do you set on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And because I can't verify how many hours you lead generate. You can tell me you lead generated 15 hours this week, and you can say that you did 100 contacts. At some point it's going to show up, but I can look at price reductions and verify that. Yeah. I can look at buyer rep agreements signed and verify that. I mean, those are actual like tangible things that I can verify. Yeah. So that's how I've done my systems and standards, is like, like being able to actually see a metric and verify it, rather than like a lot of teams just say, oh, I expect 100 contacts a week per agent. Well, if you're a buyer's agent, 100 contacts a week is really difficult to do if you're showing 4 or 5 different buyers around from out of town.
How is it you're tracking all that, and how often are you kind of touching base? Is it like a weekly meeting or?
Yeah, so we track it through CTE, and I'm hoping that Command can get something going close to that. I mean, they've got their numbers. It's just not as robust, and we track a lot of things.
For those who aren't familiar with CTE, could you kind of break that down a little bit?
Yeah, so CTE is done in Microsoft Live, and it's just a really big, robust Excel sheet, basically. And it's got, it's got all these different summary pages and different, so there's like a CEO summary, there's a listings taken, there's just so many tabs and so many things you can project out. Like, you can project out different things, different months, and different quarters. So it makes it really easy to look at everything you
Yeah.
need to do. So,
Blake, I see and hear that you muted yourself. Do you have a question?
No, I was just going to say, I mean, I'm also a big fan of CTE. I think if you can hold yourself accountable to those numbers, it really can help you out a lot. And that system is, what is it, $32, $34 a month? It's not something that's outrageous.
Yeah, it's an easy system. It takes a little bit of time to set up, but it's really easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Josh, how long were you an individual agent before you decided, hey, I'm going to have to start building a team, growing a team to be able to keep up with this level of productivity?
So I got in the business in April of 2006. I think, yeah, right. I saw about a year of good, year and a half of good real estate before it completely crashed. But I was so ignorant to the real estate industry that I just had my head down, and I was doing Camp 443 back then, which is now, basically 36-12-3 or Ignite. And I literally didn't even know we were in a recession when we were in a recession. My business grew anywhere from 50 to 100% through 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, it just continued to grow. But it was because I was doing the basics, and over time it just like kept piling up. So the first piece was probably sometime around April of 2009, because at the 3-year mark, I started getting referrals. Mm-hmm. I looked up and I was like, God, I could work 27 hours a day, and I can't get through all this stuff. So in 2010, I hired in 2007, I hired a part-time assistant. Yeah. And then in 2010, I hired a buyer's agent. She stayed with me for about a year and a half. Really where my business changed was September of 2011. I came back from Mega Camp, or I went to Mega Camp, and that was when Mega Camp was in September's and not August's. Yeah. And so Gary was talking about this thing called a showing specialist. So I was like, wow, that sounds cool. Nobody's doing it. I wonder if it's like a real thing, right? And so we came back, myself and one other agent from Nashville, and I think we were probably, I will say, I think we were the first 2 people to like formally implement it. He did it a little bit before I did. He's no longer doing it. We still do the showing specialist model. And I think that just changed that was when I could see my lead buyer's agent was able to do 100+ transactions. Oh, wow. Between her and one showing specialist. And that really like fixed the bottleneck of like getting bogged down in, showings, because that's where you lose all your time, is showing properties. Yeah. So that was like a big change in our business. And that was something that really helped us grow quite a bit.
Okay, great. Yeah. Well, I wanted to open it up and see if anybody on the call had questions for you, or anything that they've been wondering of what they can do to help increase their business. So if you guys want, you can post your questions in the chat, or if it's not too crazy loud where you are, you can unmute yourself and ask Josh whatever kind of questions you guys have. Yeah, and before somebody asks questions, I'll say another 1 or 2 other things that we're doing in our business that I think might be a little bit unique, but regardless, and going back to the videos for a minute, like, I think you guys have so much culture and so many awesome little neighborhoods in New Orleans. Like, I just think you guys should be getting out and doing like some of the videos that we've done. Not really business videos, but we've done lots of just conversational and answering questions. But we also went around town and did all the murals. And like, I think New Orleans is like the perfect city to do all kinds of different neighborhood type videos. And you don't have to have a videographer. You can do that. You guys can do that on your phone and just kind of, there's too many apps out there to not be able to do that. So I would just say, dig into your neighborhoods and like really walkable areas. Go figure that piece out. One of the other things that we do
people always ask me like, oh, do your vendors pay for all your client events? And honestly, like they don't pay for any of it. And maybe that's a detriment for me, but I want complete control over my client events, and I don't have to introduce anybody. To me, that's awkward and I don't like it. But I have a lender partner that we do this thing, and we're going to do a coaching program around it. It's called the Ultimate Business Partner. And this is not a pitch for it, but it's go find a lender or some type of vendor that you have a relationship with in your market and figure out how to like send business back and forth at a really high level. Like this lender and he makes $250,000 a year off of us sending him business. And we make about 200,000 in 2019. We made about 200 grand off of him sending us business. And it all kind of started with, we did a Facebook funnel 4 or 5 years ago together. And then, he kind of was like your typical lender that would occasionally call me and go, hey, do you have any buyers that I can pre-qualify? I was like, dude, I'm tired of this shit. Like, I'm tired of this whole conversation of like lenders always just asking. They think that it's okay to like send us a lottery ticket or some other crap swag and think that it's okay to like, ask for buyer business. And I go, dude, go find me listings. And then that listing is going to turn into more buyer leads. And not only will it turn into more sign calls and buyer leads, that person's probably going to sell and have to buy. So like, go find me a listing. One day he called me and was like, I've got a listing for you. And so like, that's how the relationship kind of started, was like, I was just tired of, I didn't want to do the, hey, pay $1,000 a month for Zillow leads. Like I'm like the most anti-Zillow person ever. I just think anyway, doing it with a lender is very artificial because I don't need any more phone calls to make. So like they buy me $1,000 a month worth of, Zillow leads, and then they expect me to convert the leads and then give it back to them. Like I don't like that.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I'm happy to like send you guys kind of an outline of what we do. But I mean, we do, investment seminars or investment, Zoom calls, talking about short-term rental like Airbnbs and buy and holds and flips. We have like a whole process of what we do. And I think it creates a real relationship rather than having this artificial relationship where you as the lender send me Zillow leads and I feel obligated. But then like when the rubber hits the road, like it's not really a real relationship. Somebody gets tired of it after a certain period of time.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I like that idea.
Yeah. It's been a really good relationship of like, and it's not tit for tat, but we do hold each other accountable. We do go over like leads every Tuesday. We go over leads for 15 minutes. Like we just have a shared Google Doc of like who he sent me and who I've sent him, and we put notes and we just talk about it. So nothing really falls through the crack.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I do agree with you that it is kind of holding each other accountable to a pretty high level.
Yeah,
and of course sharing business back and forth. So you guys are both in it together. Well,
and he also, we both do a really good job of repackaging each other. And like, especially like we've had leads before that weren't like, they had not signed a buyer rep and they were kind of interviewing agents. He resells and repackages us and pushes them back to us really well. And most lenders aren't willing to put their name on the line to do that because potentially they lose a lead. Well, his way of looking at it is like, I never really had the lead without you anyway. So like, I'm going to push it back to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that plan. Awesome.
So what are you guys struggling with the most right now? I mean, I know we're kind of all in this together and we're all kind of like mindset issues. And like, I know there's a lot of things going on. So like, are there any questions of like,
what we've been kind of focusing on right now is we're going through basically having a lot of classes and training about leads. Obviously, then the next step would be listings, and the next step would be leverage. So right now, we're kind of getting into the listings part, and our goal right now for the next 90 days is to pick up 210 listings. So that's kind of our focus that we're really going to start to push forward a little bit. And then Clayton, I see he unmuted himself again. Clayton, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, absolutely. I know, and we need to be listing heavy, and that's one of those things that he was just talking about videos and being unique to your neighborhood and unique to your area and posting that. I think if we can get focused on those areas, and people start to recognize some of the agents for those areas, it'll help us out with that listing count.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of misinformation out there right now. I think people, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of people in fear mode. And I think for most people, like, even if you don't know what to say, I think the reason a lot of people aren't calling their database is because they don't know what to say, or there's analysis paralysis, or they've called them once and it's been like kind of small talk. And then it's like, all right, what do I call and say the next time? And I think a big piece of it is like, I don't even bring real estate up, but real estate's going to come up because they're going to go, how's the market? Like, what's going on with you? Are you busy? Are you dead? Like, what's going on? Yeah. I think there's a big opportunity. Like, one of the things we've been doing every morning, so we do a Zoom call with the team every single morning, all hands on deck. Tomorrow, every Friday, we dress up for it. So I've got to figure out what my costume is.
We actually have that too with our leadership call.
It's pretty funny, and it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's good stuff. But every day I go over I go over all the numbers. Like, since April 1st, here's how many active properties have gone on the market in each of our different counties, and how many went under contract and how many have closed. And I want the team to see that, because when they're calling all their people, like, people want real information. They don't want to read Google. They don't want to read or hear the news. Like, they want somebody local in their neighborhood to tell them what the hell is going on with the real estate market. Like, really tell them what's going on. Yeah. Like, hey, it's weird. I don't know how to decipher it, but here's what I feel. Like, I'm telling people, we're still getting multiple offers, and it's not on $300,000 houses. It's those, but it's also 1.4 million that I listed last week that got multiple offers over asking price. And so, like, we're getting less showings, but the quality of the showings are insane. Like, they're through the roof. And so I think people want somebody that they can talk to about the market. Like, so go learn your numbers, go post them on social media. It makes the conversation a little bit easier. Yeah.
I know MJ likes posting numbers on social media to show everybody what's going on and what's happening.
Yeah. It's really hard. It's just doing the same things we know we're supposed to be doing. It's just carve out time. Even if it's like, I had a guy talk to my team a couple weeks ago, and he does this 5-5-5 deal. So it's like, it's not dominoes either. So it's like, they do 5. He requires them. So like on day one, like, let's just say it's January 1. It's 5 people that they Facebook message. So you either do Facebook Messenger or you interact with 5 people on Facebook, and then you text 5 people, and then you call 5 people. And so that's not lead generation, it's lead follow-up. But what makes it really easy is there's 65 days in the quarter. So each quarter you're touching 325 people if you do 5 a day. Yeah. And so anyway, it just makes it really easy to follow up that social media with, the next month or the next week, maybe you do a text message, and the next week you might do a call. So like each month you're touching these people. And if you only have a database that's 325 people or 500 people, and this isn't everybody in all of your stuff, this is people you're actually going to like interact with. So it's more lead follow-up than lead generation. Yeah. So, but it makes it really easy. Like, just make a phone call, send a text message like, hey, I've done a really crappy job of staying in touch with you. We're in a weird world right now. Like, what's going on? How are you? How can I help you? That's it. The whole script.
That's pretty easy. So really it's just keeping in contact with your database, not necessarily asking them to buy, sell, or invest in real estate today, but keeping in touch with them.
Yeah, and being a resource for when they do, because there was about 3 weeks ago where I have a client that he's a business partner of mine, but he's also, he sold his company last year for $50 million. He does not need to sell any real estate. Yeah. He literally listed all of his investment properties. He's like, list them all. He's like, just price them and list them, like whatever. And so, it's like he wants to have cash on hand when he thinks the market's going to get worse at the end of the year or the first part of 2021. So he wants to have a couple $1 million in cash, on hand to do something with. So, it's just, people need to know what's going on, and you need to be the person in the neighborhood or in your little Facebook group, community group, whatever it is, like, be the guy.
Yeah.
or girl.
Yeah, that person.
The person. Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, does anybody have any questions for Josh?
I know one of the things that stood out to me about Josh when I first met him and I started to have the opportunities to talk to him was I know times are a little different now, but Josh, one of the main things that you did, because you're not from Nashville, was you got out there and volunteered in pretty much any and every organization that you could do. And you gave people your time, which I really liked.
I always forget to tell people the story. So I had $5,000 getting into real estate, and I kind of refused to ask my dad for any money because I'm hard-headed like that. And so, but I didn't have any money to buy. So I did like 75 open houses my first year in the business. And honestly, I'm not sure that I closed any business from it, but I got really comfortable talking to strangers. And one of the things Clayton's talking about is I got on nonprofit boards. I was just trying to figure out how do I get reconnected, or how do I get connected in with people. I did a lot. There were a lot of events. I grew up in Louisiana in a small town in Alexandria where everybody pretty much knows everybody. There's only two high schools, and I could go anywhere and I knew people. And I moved back to Nashville and I was like, I don't know anybody. So I volunteered for all these events. And the reason I'm telling you this is because it's really easy to get plugged in, especially with all the technology. I would do all these events that I couldn't afford to go to, but I really wanted to go to. And I just volunteered for them so I could get in for free. But I'd go to the executive director and I'd say, hey, I don't know anybody in town. Can I just like stand by you and will you introduce me to people? And they were like, yeah, sure. And so like, that's how I built my database. And then I wrote handwritten notes to everybody I met, literally everybody. And I added them to my Excel sheet, which was my original CRM. And I had notes set aside for it. So it's really easy. Like people that tell me they can't figure this out, I struggle with that because you can move into a new town. You can be a new agent and still make an impact. It's really pretty easy. It's a contact sport. Just call people, love on them.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. It's definitely about getting out there, making contacts. And one of the things that I had when I was teaching Ignite back at the because I moved over to New Orleans from Destin, Florida. And when I was teaching Ignite out there, I would let everybody know that you don't have to be a listing agent or a buyer's agent. I mean, there's a million things in real estate you can do. You can be an ISA, an OSA, an office manager, a marketing director. I mean, there's a million things. And so that's why I really pushed on the KPA, the Keller Personality Assessment.
Yeah.
And people just play to your strength. There's no point in you stressing out, cold calling people if that's not your strength. Figure it out and play that out.
Well, Leslie Peters is a perfect example. I know you guys interviewed her a while back.
Yeah.
I mean, she is like she's the opposite of what a successful real estate agent is. And she just, at the end of the day, she's a director of operations and she just owned it. And then she built around it. Like they hired around her. And she's a kick-ass director of operations. Their client events and all their stuff is top notch. They're awesome, but she's not a good real estate agent.
Yeah.
But she loves the industry, and so she just went and found realtors. Like, hey, do you want to join us? So, like, you don't have to be the cold call machine or the lead gen machine. You just need to be able to find the people that of the areas that you suck. Like I'm terrible. I tell people I lost earnest money early on and lodged under my seat. Like my team jokes. Like they literally call my wife and say, hey, Josh is bringing home checks. We just want to make sure like they don't give me anything. They don't because I'm a disaster, but I know what I'm really good at. And there's only like a couple of things, but it works for me. So yeah. And that's the cool part about real estate is like, there's a gazillion ways to make money in real estate.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that's all my questions. Clayton, did you have any more questions for Josh?
I'm good. I've enjoyed it, man. It's been a good one.
Yeah. Hey guys, here's the deal. When we get through all of this, I want to come see y'all in person. I'm happy to come give you guys hugs and all that good stuff. New Orleans is one of my favorite places. Preferably invite me during football season. I can make a little Baton Rouge, eat some Commander's Palace and all the other.
We can have a football season this year, then yeah.
I know. Well, maybe I can get a tour of the football stadium or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm happy to come in and speak. My wife and I are both grew up there. We love going back to Louisiana. So give me a reason.
Yeah.
And all our referrals for the Nashville area need to come to you, Josh. I know you've taken great care of everybody we've ever sent you.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I love referrals. So yeah,
you guys can definitely connect with Josh on the referral network. If you go into KW Command, you can click on referrals. You can find Josh and connect with him on there. It's very easy to send referrals back and forth. I'm sure Josh just requires like 50% on every deal.
Thank you for that plug.
Yeah.
And another thing, if you guys want any, like if I didn't do a good job of explaining or we didn't have enough time to talk about some of those things, I'm happy to send you, I can send them to you, Adam, just like all of my client event playbooks, housewarming party checklists, like standard contracts. We get our agents to sign contracts. And so I'm happy to send whatever you guys want.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you so much for sharing everything, Josh.
Just shoot me a text or an email or get Clayton to send me something and whatever you guys, I'll send it over.
Okay, great.
appreciate the shout out for the house rule, Josh.
Yeah.
If nobody has any questions, then I guess we're good to go.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you so much, Josh. We'll see you
Thanks,
later.
Josh.
See you, man.
Awesome.